If you've ever tried to lose weight, you know just how frustrating it can be. Well, today we're going to dive into a pretty surprising reason why so many diets just don't work. And, spoiler alert, it has almost nothing to do with willpower. Does this sound familiar? You're a couple of weeks into a new plan, and it feels like you're literally fighting your own body. The cravings are intense, and it just feels like every part of you is working against your goal. It's such a common story, but it turns out there's a very real biological reason for it. So, what if the real problem isn't what's on your plate? Hypnotherapist Justine Lutz says the real obstacle is actually a hidden stress response that's gotten locked inside your nervous system. Let's break down what that actually means. Okay, so let's start with something we can all relate to. Hitting that weight loss wall. You know the feeling. You are doing everything by the book, but that number on the scale just refuses to move. It's so frustrating, and honestly, it's the point where most of us just throw in the towel. Do any of these sound like you? That mindless snacking at a party, the late-night trip to the fridge when you're not even hungry. It feels like a total lack of control. But what if these actions aren't really choices? What if they're just automatic responses? And this is where the whole perspective just flips. This isn't about banning foods or restricting yourself. The real goal is to get to the root of those subconscious patterns so that, for maybe the first time in a long time, you actually have a real choice in the matter. So how does our nervous system get tangled up in all of this? Well, this is the absolute core of the issue. And it's also where we're going to find the key to finally breaking these cycles for good. Okay, so look at these two states of overwhelm. We all know fight or flight on the left, right? That buzzy, anxious, stressed out feeling. But there's this other state, this shutdown mode, that we don't talk about nearly as much. And this is a big one for people who struggle with weight. It's where you feel kind of numb, unmotivated, just completely and totally stuck. The technical name for this is the over-parasympathetic state. But really, you can just think of it as your body hitting the emergency brake. It's a survival mode. It slows your metabolism way down and holds onto weight because it thinks it needs to conserve every bit of energy it has. Now get this. This is the really wild part. You know our go-to relaxation tricks, like taking a nice hot bath? Well, sometimes they can actually make things worse. If you're already in that shutdown state, that deep relaxation can accidentally tell your body, yep, this is right, let's stay here, locking you into it even deeper. This quote just nails the why behind it all. It's not a character flaw, it's not a lack of willpower, it's your body's ancient, protective programming trying to keep you safe from a world that it has subconsciously decided is a threat. Okay, so if our bodies are basically running on this outdated automatic software, how in the world do we break free? How do we get back in the driver's seat and start making our own choices again? So, a lot of our eating habits are what you could call subconscious trances. It's like you're on autopilot. You grab the chocolate, you eat the chocolate, and your conscious brain only seems to log back in after it's gone, usually right when the guilt starts to kick in. And this stuff gets programmed into us incredibly early. Up until around age 7, our brains are in this super suggestible, almost hypnotic state. That's when we absorb all these rules about food, like clean your plate, and those rules can stick with us as subconscious habits for life. Now, to override a program that's been running for that long, you need a seriously powerful motivator. And this brings us to a really important question you need to ask yourself. What is your why? Look, the instant pleasure you get from a cookie is a powerful reward. Your why for making a change has to create an even more powerful, more positive feeling inside you. It can't be about what someone else wants for you. It has to be a deeply personal reason that's all about you. Okay, so enough about the what and the why. Let's get practical. Here are 2 actual techniques you can start using to reprogram those subconscious responses and take back the controls. Okay, this first one is for short-circuiting those emotional triggers in the moment. So when you feel that anxiety or that urge bubble up, first, just notice it. Second, find where it is in your body. Is it a tightness in your chest and not in your stomach? Third, literally visualize pulling that feeling out of you. And fourth, this is the magic step. Instantly replace it. Think of a memory that makes you feel loved or something that makes you laugh out loud. That rush of good chemicals starts to rewire the whole response. Now, this next technique isn't about fighting anything at all. In fact, it's the opposite. It's about learning to reconnect with your body's own natural wisdom. Think about it. As babies, we were absolute experts at this. We ate when hungry, stopped when full. Simple. But then we grow up and we're taught to listen to everything but our bodies. The clock on the wall, the amount of food left on our plate, we learn to just ignore our own signals. So here's a really simple mental exercise to recalibrate. First, take a second and really remember the physical sensation of being uncomfortably full. Then, do the same for what true physical hunger feels like in your stomach. And finally, recognize that quiet, neutral state in between, which is actually where your body spends most of its time. This all leads to a simple little practice you can do every day. The next time your mind screams, eat, just pause. Then check in with your body. Are you actually feeling hunger in your stomach? Then ask yourself, what do I really need right now? You might be surprised how often the answer is just a glass of water or a 5-minute break.
And that's really the big takeaway here. This whole approach isn't about waging a war against your body. It's about turning it into a partnership. It's about finally learning to listen to what your body has been trying to tell you all along. So, we'll leave you with this thought. For so long, we've been told the answer is just more discipline, more willpower, right? But what if the real key isn't to fight harder? What if the solution is to stop fighting and just start listening?